Hi, my name is Mrunal Kute, and I am a student at Godwin High School. I investigated different concentrations of Ginkgo biloba on Danio rerio memory development. So, Alzheimer's disease is one of the leading causes of death worldwide. The disease is distinguished by one's cognitive decline, which impacts memory, learning, and personality. One of the problems, however, is that there is no cure for the disease. Treatments that exist, such as cholinesterase inhibitors and myotin, somewhat alleviate symptoms of Alzheimer's, but they result in fatal side effects, like hypertension, renal or kidney failure, and even death. From my research, I hope to find a treatment that would ultimately be effective in treating the disease. In the experiment, the IV was the Ginkgo biloba, a plant-based medication. The levels of the IV were further split into the control, which received 0 mg of G biloba per liter, and Group A, which received 0.5 mg per liter, and so on and so forth. The DV was D. rerio, or zebrafish, memory development. D. rerio were chosen since they share approximately 70% of their genes with humans. So, since there is no quantitative way to test zebrafish memory, I measured my data qualitatively using a T-maze, which best uses the concepts of conditioning and habitual learning where organisms are trained. The purpose of this research was to analyze different concentrations of Ginkgo biloba on Danio rerio memory development as a preventative method for Alzheimer's disease. A research hypothesis was formulated that if experimental group C received 1.5 milligrams per liter of Ginkgo biloba, then the memory development would be significantly higher than the control, Group A, and Group B. For the experiment, materials were obtained and the 12 zebrafish were placed in each of the 4 tanks. The Dioraria were then given the G biloba once every 3 days over a time span of 12 days. On the days the Dioraria were given the G biloba, they also trained inside of the maze, which had 2 wings as seen in the image below, a left and a right. Before training, the Dioraria were given access to the entire maze. During training, however, the left portion was blocked off using a divider, and the Dioraria were incentivized with food and trained to swim to the right wing. After 12 days, a final test was administered, and the entire maze was accessible, or meaning nothing was blocked off. If the fish swam right, memory development was observed. If the fish swam left, memory development was not observed. These are just graphs and data tables. As you can see, experimental group C performed the best where all 12 zebrafish demonstrated memory development. I performed a chi-square test at a 0.005 level of significance where my null hypothesis was that the G biloba would have no significant impact on memory development. All the calculated chi-square values were higher than the table value of 7.879, hence my research hypothesis was supported and my null was rejected. So I further researched Alzheimer's disease and found out that the disease is caused by a lack of blood flow to the brain, and since neurons in the brain require the compounds found in blood, neurons die without these nutrients. This disease can also be explained by the tangles of tau protein, which prevent the nutrients from entering neurons. What I found out was that G biloba's properties, specifically the flavonoids, increase blood flow and the production of nitric oxide, which helps to alleviate the disease. In previous studies, the EGB 761 extract, a derivative of the G biloba supplement, has shown to significantly decrease hydrophosphorylation or tangles of the tau protein. The extract also inhibited apoptosomes, which are released to signal apoptosis in neurons, effectively inhibiting cellular death. As seen in the picture to the right, the breaking down of the tau protein here results in the blockage of the membrane, which the G biloba is able to prevent due to its neuroprotective properties. Applying these concepts to the experiment, Group C displayed the highest memory development, which was most likely due to an increase in blood flow to the brain, the rapid inhibition of the apoptosomes, and the decrease in hydrophosphorylation of the tau protein. In comparison, since the control group received 0 mg of Ginkgo biloba, there was no change in the amount of tau protein present or the levels of inhibition, hence lower rates of memory development. Okay, so some sources of error during experimentation include the Dioraria randomly choosing a direction, left or right, during the final testing period. However, this claim can be refuted since organisms that have been trained for an extended period of time are able to accurately display memory development. Further experiments that could be done include testing G biloba on rats to further prove the impact of the medication and to further prove the idea that G biloba can prevent Alzheimer's disease. Or what we could do is, now that we've looked at what could potentially treat Alzheimer's disease, the G biloba, we could also look at root causes of the disease and how these root causes affect accumulation of the tau protein and inhibition of the apoptosomes. Thank you.